Asalamu'alaikum all, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you are all in the best of health and iman. If you are new, welcome. My name is Nafisa. I am a Muslimah life coach and I support Muslim women with relationship and mental health issues. So if you're interested in being coached in those areas, you can find me over on my website, which I will leave linked in the description box down below. But over here on YouTube, I make Islamic lifestyle as well as dawah content. So if you're interested in that, then definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And please don't forget to also hit the notification bell and choose all notifications so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. So today's video is a requested video. Someone asked me to make videos for youths, maybe touch upon topics that affect the younger generations, and they suggested maybe how to pray or be more consistent with salah. And it's interesting because when I read that, I thought, wow, this is actually a problem for most people, adults included. Inshallah, I'm going to share with you guys some tips on how to be more consistent with salah. Okay, they are not going to be as much hacks. Rather, it's going to really be looking at the deep-rooted issues. And then I'm going to give you some practical tips on steps that you can take to incorporate salah more successfully into your routine, inshallah. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the video. So you struggle with praying 5 times a day, or you struggle with praying on time. What is the issue? To explore this, I want you to take a pen and a paper. Sit down and answer these 2 questions for me. The first question is, what is your relationship with Allah like at the moment? If you had to give it a rating between 0 and 10, what would you rate your relationship with Allah at the moment as being? What number would you give yourself? Write that number down. Secondly, how seriously are you taking the deen at the moment? On a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being taking the deen extremely seriously, what number would you allocate to yourself? Okay, so hopefully now you've written that down. Looking at the numbers that you currently have, are you pleased with where you are? With your relationship with Allah and how seriously you're taking the deen? For majority of us, the answer will be no. So what I want you to now contemplate is, what is it that is causing you to prioritize your deen less? What is the real issue? Because for most of us, if we want to be honest with ourselves, if we get past my routine is messed up and all of that, at the core of it, some of us might find that the problem really lies in the fact that we don't prioritize Allah. The problem lies in the fact that we're either upset with Allah, we are either angry with Allah, or we don't really take Islam as something serious. So, if we can be honest with ourselves and say that one of those 3 things are the issues, then those areas are what we need to fix. I'm saying that because I'm also a Muslim that's trying. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. And I know that it becomes easier for me to apply Islam when my relationship with Allah is strong. Suddenly, it's not so much of a struggle. It's still a struggle in terms of your routine can get in the way and all of that. But it's not so much of a struggle that I will get to a point where I'm not even praying 5 times a day. When your relationship with Allah is strong, you never reach a point where you're not even praying 5 times a day. And you never reach a point where you can go by skipping salah and not even feel bad about it. Because part of the heart of a believer is that once you haven't prayed, as soon as salah time comes in and you haven't prayed, there's a sense of uneasiness. You can't relax. It's just in your head that, oh my God, I haven't prayed yet. And if you're not having that feeling, that sense of feeling uneasy, then again, there is an issue with Iman. So what can you do to help yourself? First and foremost, I need you to find a way to reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the things that you can do is go on YouTube or find podcasts that speak about the importance of salah. Find lectures that speak about the importance of Iman. Find lectures that speak about the questions you will be asked about in your graves. Find lectures that speak about the day of judgment. Because at this level, where salah is not being prioritized, you have to scare yourself into doing this properly. Because sometimes we lean too much onto the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the bottom line is, as human beings, we operate or we are motivated by two things. We're either motivated by reward or we're motivated by punishment. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses those two things and He speaks about those two areas in the Quran. There are times where being hopeful of Allah is what motivates us. And there are times where being fearful of Allah is going to motivate us. If we lean too much on one without leaning on the other, we're going to have a problem. So if for you feel like you've just become complacent, you've just become too relaxed, then what I want you to do is to utilize lectures that say it as it is, that will give you that sense of fear back into worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you feel like you're just too scared and fear has been the main motivator, then you need to lean more so into the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that case, you need to listen to lectures that speak about the reward of prayer, the reward of those who are righteous and they do good deeds, how merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. But you have to be honest with yourself. Lying to yourself will not help you in any way, shape or form right now. So you have to be brutally honest with yourself. If you are one of those people whom you say to yourself, you know what, I'm not that bad, because there are so many people out there who are praying and yet they're committing so many sins. That is the shaitan trying to justify to you why not praying is okay. And listening to that will only pull you further down. You should not be judging your level of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on what other people are doing. Because guess what? The majority of people are going to end up in hell. The majority of people are going to hell. So if you're going to compare yourself to the majority, there's nothing for you to try to aspire to. So you need to focus on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and achieving the best that you can. So I hope that is clear. Listen to the lectures that will motivate you according to where your heart is currently at. Third area now is to look at how to practically prioritize salah. So make sure you write down these next few points. First thing I want you to do is that I want you to make sure that you have your salah app turned on. The notifications for Fajr, Maghrib and Isha, maybe just Fajr and Maghrib, should at least be on and out loud. I'm saying just for Fajr and Isha because for some people, because here in the West, we are now in our winter months. For some people, Maghrib also catches them whilst they are at work. So you might not want your alarm to be out loud. And in that case, I want you to make sure that it is on vibration. So now you have all of your salah times and the adhan on. So you're going to be reminded of salah time, whether it is by the adhan going on loudly or if it's just your phone vibrating. But I do not want any of the salah time on silence. If they are on silent, remove it from silent right now. Second thing to do will be to look at your timetable or write down your daily routine. So for example, for me, this is my diary, okay? And in here, the time slot goes from 8 a.m. all the way till 5 p.m. So what I would like you to do is write down your rough timetable, okay? So I wake up at this time, okay? So maybe 5 o'clock, wake up, or 7 o'clock, wake up. 9 till 5, I'm working. And then 6 o'clock, I'm at home, 7 o'clock, whatever, okay? All the way up until you go to bed. So write down your routine, the things that are pretty much consistent in your everyday timetable. After that, you're going to go back into your timetable and you're going to look at the very early hours of the mornings. And we're going to try to slot in Fajr. So currently in the UK, Fajr is around 5:30-ish. So I'm going to set my alarm to wake me up for 5:25. That way you have 5 minutes to make wudu at least, and then you can pray Fajr. If you feel like you're struggling to wake up for Fajr, what you need to think about is, what is it that's stopping me from being able to wake up for Fajr? Most of the time, it's because we are going to bed really late. So if you're sleeping really late, naturally waking up at 5:30, 5:25 is going to be very difficult if you're going to bed at 2 a.m. So going back to prioritizing salah, going back to the fact that you now understand the importance of salah in your life and that it is the purpose of why you're here in the first place, right? You're going to make an effort and you're going to have to sacrifice some of the TV that you're watching late at night. You're going to have to sacrifice speaking to whoever you're speaking to until very late hours of the night. You're going to have to sacrifice some of that to help you wake up on time for Fajr. So your routine might now look like going to bed at 10 or 11 p.m. maximum. If you fall asleep at 11 p.m. and you wake up at 5, that's a good 6 hours that you'll get in there, right? So you need to think about what is you're doing the night before. You need to figure out what you're going to cut out or what you're going to sacrifice so that you can... My diary just fell down. So that you can have enough sleep and still be able to wake up on time for Fajr. If it requires for you to set 3 alarms, then set 3 alarms. If it requires you to drink a lot of water so you wake up and you need to use the toilet and then you use that opportunity to just make wudu and pray Fajr, then do that. Whatever hack helps you to be able to get yourself up, then do that. There is also certain apps nowadays that you can set up, right? And the lights come on. The light brightens up all the way up until the time that you set your alarm to be. So let's say, for example, I set my alarm to be 5:25. It will begin to shine. My phone will begin to get brighter, right? Up until 5:25, my phone gets completely bright, and then that is a natural way of waking you up. It's artificial light that comes, beams out throughout your phone, and that is meant to mimic the way the natural sunlight will naturally wake you up. It sounds really weird, but I'll leave the name of the app in the description box down below. You can try it. It really does work. So that is Fajr. For Dhuhr, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing during that time? If Dhuhr is 12:30, is that during my lunch break or is that not during my lunch break? Okay, if it's during my lunch break, then I need to have it in mind that somewhere during the morning, I need to take a quick 2 minutes trip to the loo. Whilst I'm in the loo, I'm going to make wudu. Because I remember when I used to teach in schools, that's what I used to do. I would take myself on a kind of mid-morning break, around about 10:30 to 11. I'll take a quick 2 minutes break to the loo, and then I'll make wudu then. So that means that I don't have to spend part of my lunchtime trying to make wudu because I only get half an hour lunch break. Making wudu in half an hour, eating lunch in half an hour, and praying in half an hour is crazy. Sometimes impossible, right? So I know that once I have wudu and I can keep my wudu until the end of my lunch break, that makes things easier for me. So when lunch break comes at 12 o'clock to 12:30 and Salah Adhan for Dhuhr goes off at 12:15, for example, I know that I already have wudu. So all I need to do now is to have a space to pray. that takes us on to making sure that you've already established where you can pray. You want to have at least 1 or 2 places where you can pray. And it's going to take you being brave enough to ask your workplace for a place that you can pray. And if you feel like the place that they give you is not convenient, because I was speaking to someone about this a couple of days ago, and they said that the space that they have to pray is like glass, there aren't walls in between. It's glassed all the way around. So she feels like when she's praying, men can see her when she's bending down and all of that. So it doesn't really give her much of an encouragement to pray. So we were contemplating on the idea of maybe sitting to pray, okay? Because once you don't have a space where you can stand to pray, being able to sit and pray becomes incumbent upon you. Rather you do that than to miss your salah completely, right? So I was saying to her, okay, maybe if you had a word with the people that you share your office space with, because she shares the office space with two or three more people. And I said, well, they know you well, you know them well. So maybe just have a general conversation and say, look, guys, I'm really trying to take my prayers more seriously, because as Muslims I have to pray, but the space they've given us around here just doesn't quite work for me. So when it's time for me to pray, you might see me standing in the corner over there. I'm actually just praying. Okay, just make it a light topic, but let them know that you take a little bit of time on the side to pray in your office where you are, if you can find a little corner for yourself. We were talking about this and we were saying how sometimes you're just nervous about bringing up these topics. You don't want to be seen to be the one that's shaking the boat, because for a lot of people, they are Muslims working in certain environments, but they never ask for a place to pray. And when you are the one that comes and you're asking for a place to pray, it makes it seem as though, you're extreme, quote unquote, but you have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove that anxiety and remove that fear, because sometimes that's just what's blocking you. The anxiety and the fear of you having to be different, of you having to ask for a place to pray, you feel like you're inconveniencing people, but you're not inconveniencing anyone. You're doing this for the sake of your hereafter, because this is the purpose for which you were created. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your dua every single day to give you the courage to be able to ask for a place to pray, and to be able to speak to your colleagues about you praying in your work environment without you feeling bad about it. So that's something you can try. So then that will help you with praying dhuhr on time and praying asr on time. If your job involves you having to move around a lot, then you need to start thinking of, okay, if I'm moving around a lot, maybe you're delivering goods and things like that. Okay, so then is there somewhere, a space, somewhere where I can stop and pray? Is there a park somewhere where I can just quickly take 5 minutes? Always make sure I have my prayer mat in my bag, where I can just take 5 minutes, lay my prayer mat and pray as long as I have wudu. Okay, having wudu really goes a long way to making praying salah easy for you, trying to maintain your wudu as much as you can. So that will help you with dhuhr and asr. Maghrib then becomes the biggest struggle sometimes, because the timing for Maghrib is so short. So you have to look at, what is the time for Maghrib? Right now it's around 4 something for us PM here in the UK. So if you're not going to be at home during that time, but yet you finish work, is it best for you to spend an extra 10 minutes at work, find an empty room where no one is at, to pray Maghrib before you start making your journey home? Or is it that you're already on your way home during that time? You have to think about, how can I make this work? Salah is a priority, and it should constantly be on your mind in terms of, how can I make this work, okay? If your job is really making it hard for you to pray your salah on time and you're having to compromise, guys, it's time to start making dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you a job where you don't have to compromise your salah. It's so important. I was listening to a lecture one time about a brother who actually made dua and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him a job where he can pray on time. And Allah gave him a job where he could pray on time, and that job paid him even better money. So sometimes if you prioritize your salah, you choose to prioritize your salah. I've experienced this in my life. Like Allah gives you a job that's even better than that, that allows you to pray on time and can pay you more money sometimes. Praying on time is really where the struggle is for the most of us, and most of us do struggle. So don't feel like you're alone in the struggle, but the idea is to minimize that struggle as much as possible so that you are able to pray on time. So think about your timetable and think about what sacrifices you need to make and how you need to shift things to make it easier for you to pray on time. Now, when I say pray on time, bear in mind that there is a range of time where you can pray, okay? So just because the adhan went on right now doesn't mean that you have to pray right now. And if you don't pray within the next 5 minutes, your salah is not accepted. Obviously, the earliest to the time you're able to pray. So for example, if the adhan is called right now for dhuhr, if I'm able to make wudu and pray dhuhr right now, it is better than to leave it late, okay? But in a situation where you're struggling, then just bear in mind that you have a range of time to pray. Most of the time you will have at least half an hour, except for Maghrib, where really sometimes 20 minutes even all you have, because it gets so dark so quickly, okay? So bear in mind that you will have a range of time, and as long as you pray within that time, your prayer is accepted, okay? So with everything that I have said, it is now in your hands. The ball is in your court, okay? People can talk all day, every day. They can give as much tips as they want to. But if you as an individual, you don't implement those, you will never see any difference. So at the end of the day, I have done my part. It is time for you to now do your part. It is time for you to take actions on these steps. I doubt very much that if you take actions on these steps, you will still find yourself where you are. No, you will most likely find yourself being more consistent with your salah, inshallah. So make sure you take those practical steps. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Please make sure you share it with anyone else that you feel may be struggling with praying salah on time. And I will see you guys in my next video. Asalamu'alaikum wa rahmatullahi.